Oh, now we're stuck in the present.
Oh,
Here it is.
Yes! Alright, let's Drew Studio first. Present day, Drew Studio. Yeah, well, what do we have here? Remember me? Of course, I remember you. Journalist meets ex-attorney in a bar. End quote. Can I ask what you're doing here? Mr. Misham was poisoned, and his daughter's... Oh, yes, I know. Oh, how I know? Yes. It's caused me no end of grief, to be honest. Journalist wishes he tracked down the case just a little quicker. End quote. Were you on the trail of this case the whole time? That Grimmerai was a good friend. I said something to that effect back at the Board's Bull Club. What a character. What a man. And extremely rough around the edges. Do you think I could ask you a few questions? Oh, you serious? I mean, I'm usually the interviewer, not the interviewee. Journalists ask questions, no other way around. End quote. Fine, shoot, I don't care. People have been asking me all sorts of things lately. It's tragic what happened to Drew Misham and his daughter. Forgery is a serious crime, and they paid the price. You know what really did him in, though, don't you? Yes. A forged diary page. That night, I interviewed him. I found out something about Mr. Bishop I hadn't known. What's that? You know, he always felt like he was being watched. Every day, for 7 years. Walls have ears. Potatoes have ears. Eyes. End quote. Being watched. You mean he felt guilty? No, I'm not talking about feelings here. No, I felt watched too. The whole time I've been on this case, no less. Journalist gets tingling sensation on the back of the neck. Freaks out. End quote. Because you felt guilty? Why would I feel guilty? Felt like you were being watched. Oh. Wonder what it all means. Drew Misham felt like he was being watched. And you along with him. You sure it wasn't just nerves? Nerves? No, it's nothing. It's so mundane. I stopped paying attention to my nerves a long time ago. But I felt it too. Sure as he is being watched. End quote. Don't you wonder why Zach Grammaret rubbed out after 7 years? Right after coming into contact with me. He completely vanishes from that courtroom. Then, for 7 years, he talks to me. Talks to no one else. Not a soul. Then, just as the remaining time was almost up, he contacts me in order to have this made. And then, he dies. Starting to put the pieces together, are we? And you were being watched this whole time. Maybe not just me. Maybe you were too. Me. I'm back Zach through that case, actually. You mean the shooting of Magnifique Grammarai? No, before that. It's not widely known. You mean accident during the quick draw shooting practice? My, you're well informed. You should have seen me back then. I dug up quite the scoop. I wanted it all. Money, fame, women, a little puppy, all for me. I was younger then. My days and nights smelled fresher than they do now. Valiant Grammarai did mention one particularly nosy reporter. In fact, I was close to speaking terms with Magnifique Grammarai at the time. I knew his daughter too, of course. Celisa, was it? Really? Then Celisa disappeared, quite suddenly at least. Magnifique wouldn't say a word about it. Yeah, my evil habit got the better of me. Journalist who catches the scent of a scoop goes on feeding frenzy. End quote. I'll set up a one-on-one interview with Salisa's husband, you see. Zach Grummerai. Something strange was in the air over that true Grummerai in those days. The whole school mentor controlling disciple scene started back then, I'm guessing. Salisa, she was part of it all, right? Come on, you can tell me for the record. Sorry, I don't know. Anyway, I kept prying and eventually became friends with Zach. Sure, he punched me once or twice, or 5 times. But over time, he came to see me as a confidant. He'd been waiting this whole time. 7 years, eh? Waiting. For his big comeback, of course. A big revival of Magnificent Miracle. Of course, it was all a dream. Because of this. The performance rights. What if Apollo's name is in this? I just thought of that now that we put it together that Apollo is their kid too.
We'd have to look inside it, but Phoenix would know because Phoenix would open it.
Well, maybe Phoenix hasn't opened this. Maybe Phoenix has never opened it. Yeah, they said Phoenix signed it, but we don't see Phoenix's signature on it. In the absence of any official documents, he was golden. Who's to say the old man didn't give his rights to both Zack and Valiant? So Valiant waited until Zack died, legally at least. Time finally comes, and Valiant is like a kid on a Christmas morning. He's getting ready for his show at Sunshine Coliseum, you know. That document sees the legal light of day. It's going to put a bit of damper on the big show. Here's a sorry one, that Valiant Grummerai. Lost out to his partner at work, and in love too.
In love? I knew it! Love triangle!
Uh-oh. It's the same old story, really. 2 disciples and their mentor's only daughter. What has 3 sides in them, all pointing? A love triangle. It's pretty classic. When you're a performing troupe, that's your world. It's like family. One was an entire high school worth of drama, intriguing and backstabbing. And in the middle of all this, Talisa and Trucy. And then she dies. I'm gonna find out more about this Talisa.
Present to him Trelisa?
Mr. Brushel, do you know this person? Do I know that person? Of course. I was friends with Zack. After all, he hit me a few times. 5 times, actually. But still, I'll never forget his wife. Talisa Grummerai. Magnificent Grummerai's only daughter. Do you think you could tell me more about her? Well, why the heck not? So Talisa married Zack and had Trucy, see? It was her second marriage, actually.
Oh!
Oh, no!
No!
Oh, no! You mean she was divorced? Hadn't heard this one before. Not quite. Her husband was a performer, too. Apparently he died during some gig. Okay, so it's not Valiant then?
No, it's not Valiant. It's a different person altogether.
He died during some gig. Tragic, really. They'd only married 1 year. I didn't know. Ah, but she was a beauty. Still carry a portrait photo of her around, you know. There's the wristbands. That's a better shot of the bands. That's probably what we need.
Yeah.
I know Trucy since she was a little thing, too. She got the better deal, really. She got you for a family, after all. What do you mean? Just reminiscing, you know. So Lisa had another child besides Trucy. End quote. What? But Trucy said she was an only child. Ah, yes. This one she had was her previous husband. Her previous husband. Her first husband who died during a performance? Yep, they had themselves a kid. Another orphan now. That's another one who slipped through the cracks. No idea where they are now. Lisa had another child. Do you think I could borrow that photo? Sure. I could be generous on occasion, you know. Won't need this locket anymore. Better return it to Trucy before I forget. People and all get tangled together and get bigger and bigger. Don't you think? Too busy wondering about the bigger error to listen to what you're saying. Sometimes you gotta accept what you won't be able to untangle all I say. Maybe so, but still. I have to do what I can. And I have to tell what I find to those who come next. Next, you say? I'm not the only one who will close the curtain on this little play. Apparently, that's not my role anymore. Magnifi. I was just wondering what Magnifi would think of all this. What do you mean? Have you seen it? Have you seen it in Trucy? He's got his power. You mean how I can't lie to Trucy? It was the same with Magnifi. And with his daughter, Salisa. It's a strange thing. You think it's some Grammare gene? Magnifi told me once, back when Zack married Salisa. Said Zack had good eyes. Not good like Grammare eyes. Not that good. Wonder if Zack ever played a game of poker with his wife. Who knows what the Grammare secret was? Maybe nobody. Now that Zack's gone. Zack Grammare. The plot has finally begun to reveal itself. It sprouted from a wrap in the Grammare fabric and grew, swallowing everything, wrapping itself around a Grammare's power. A power which passed from Magnifi Grammare to Salisa to the next generation. And I would once again need to meet the one who bridged it all together.
Well, back to the Bork School Club. I think we got everything we need.
Plot twist, we won't. We'll have to go to Sunshine Coliseum.
Please no. I think Sunshine Coliseum might have Grammare right there. Because we got two big bads in this, right? Okay, here we go. Welcome back, everyone.
Actually, I know something. Your marriage to Salisa was her second.
How did you know this?
Her first husband had died a year after they were wed. Yes? He was
He was a performer. They met when he joined us at Grammare's as a guest in our show. After Talissa wed him, she left the troupe for a while. And you say she had a child then?
I have a photograph of her here. Couldn't help but notice what she was wearing when I first saw this. Those bracelets stand out.
They're the Grammare family heirloom.
This boy wears a bracelet just like the one in this picture.
What? So that's why.
Why what, Mr. Zack?
I took this photograph of Talissa just before she left us. When she returned, she wore only one bracelet.
She left one for Apollo.
Where is her current one then?
I bet I know where that other one went.
She gave it to this boy, her son. That strange power, I myself do not know from where it comes. Yet the fact is, she's passed down in the Grammary line, it runs in their veins. Maybe because Trucy doesn't have it, she can't tell either.
What is it?
I asked her, Talissa once. This is what she told me. Her power responds to tension in others.
Tension?
If she were to face a person and they become tense even slightly, then she would know no matter how hard they tried to hide it from her.
So she could see it.
Not quite. This is the strangest part of it all. She wouldn't realize that she was subconsciously detecting this tension. Without the use of a particular object, or in her case, objects.
Objects. Wait. Were they something she wore?
Yes, her bracelets.
I admit, the first time I saw one of those, I felt there was more to it than just fashion. But what kind of power could a bracelet have?
I have made a decision. I will tell you all I know. Consider it a gift.
Well, I hardly need you to tell me at this point, but those two...
Our brother and sister, yes. And the brother too has this power of theirs.
So Trucy has an older brother. I wonder what will come of that.
Mr. Wright. Tonight after our game is done, I will return to a life of hiding. Or death. I will not see her live her life without knowing.
I understand. I'll tell the two of them when the time is right.
I'm in your debt once again.
No kidding. What I want to know is how all this got to be so messed up.
Those bracelets are made of a special alloy. It is said to expand and shrink very slightly in response to body warmth.
So they're temperature sensitive or something.
Yes. This is how they can shrink to the exact size of the wearer's wrist.
This has something to do with the power?
What have I told you? The Grammary power reacts to the tension in others. When a Grammary senses tension, they too become tense. And this tension translates into minute contractions of the muscles. So minute they cannot sense it on their own.
I think that one's supposed to be minute.
Minute. I didn't say minute.
Yeah, you said
Minute.
You said minute. They're muscles. Oh, so that's what their bracelets are for.
With the bracelet on, one can sense these contractions. Because the bracelet is always a perfect fit.
So when a person they're watching gets tense, the bracelet feels tighter on their wrist.
Precisely.
But that alone doesn't really count as mind reading.
I believe I understand how the process works from there. It's a simple question of eyesight.
Eyesight? Guess it sounds simple enough.
Have you ever heard of the kinetic vision?
Something about the ability to see moving objects with full clarity. I've heard of it before. They say athletes can see a moving ball like it was stopped if they focus.
Oh, but it's not confined to sports alone. It all relies on the ability to focus. When we focus, we can see many things. The faintest twitch of the face and the meaning that lies behind it. Therein lies one of the secrets of magic. One must know the mind of a crowd before one may distract it.
So basically, what you're saying is, the Grammarize can see really well.
For them, seeing is more than believing, it is knowing. Their power relies on eyesight combined with exceptional focus.
Things are starting to come into focus for me too.
Of course, it is difficult to maintain such level focuses for any length of time. But what if someone could tell you when to focus? Or something.
Or something.
Oh. Precisely.
But wait, Tracy doesn't have any bracelets.
You were talking about poker, yes? The timing of when focus is so elementary, she probably does it without thinking.
So yeah, she doesn't need the bracelet. She can just tell automatically.
I doubt Trucy herself has realized this.
So probably, like, if she had one of the bracelets, she'd be able to tell much more often. Because, like, remember that time in the second case where she pointed out the early one because it was more obvious, but once it got more minute, she couldn't tell. Yeah. But Apollo could because he had the wristband signaling to him.
Yep. That is all I know of the things, Grammarly.
Thank you, Mr. Zack.
If this boy's bracelet is the real thing, then he will use it before long. Thereby awakening his power.
I'll keep that in mind. Well, shall we play a game?
I've said so much. Let me say one more thing. I will tell you of that night.
That night?
The night my mentor, Magnified Grammar, I passed on from this world to the next. There were 2 pistols and 2 letters sent. Bless you. This was Magnify's test, which I expected.
Yeah, which is what I called out too. It's like maybe it was whoever showed the resolve to not do it would get it. Test.
In his last years, Magnified Grammar worked us to the bone. No, to the pain. But that night I could not shoot him. So I shot the clown's forehead instead.
And that's probably why he had the statue there.
That, it seems, was the correct answer.
Take this. I give my art to you, Zack.
What?
It is thanks for playing along with my show. You shot well tonight, Zack. Though I would not have minded dying by your hand.
How could I shoot you? You're my mentor.
Bah! I thought you might say that.
If I went home without shooting anything, what would you have done then?
Then I would have given a chance to Valent.
And if I had shot you in the forehead instead?
Then it would be over. If your Valent were to shoot me in the head, then I to the darkness would go, and my art with me. A fitting end, don't you think?
Ah.
Yet this ending too gives me no cause for regret. I thank you. And I'm sorry. I have done much that was wrong in my day. It seems to me that Magnifi wanted you to be his successor all along. That's why the time he gave you was earlier than Valent's.
Perhaps, but it's not something we'll ever know for sure now. I wonder, what is Valent up to these days?
Waiting for you to die. 7 years passes like this, the performance rates go to him. Ah. Oh, that was you.
And now here I am, and his dream has ended.
It's worse than that, actually. Public opinion's a fickle thing, you know.
What? You don't mean to tell me they put the blame for our mentor's death on him?
The trial ended when you vanished, Mr. Zack. There were even rumors that Valent had helped you pull it off.
That's madness. Well, it seems that before I can once again disappear from this world, I have one more act to perform. Isn't it odd that sorting out the life should prove so complicated? Even though I'm dead?
That night, Zach Grummarai was killed. He died as Shoddy Smith, a mysterious traveler with a secret past. He left one thing behind before he parted. This. To whom it may concern, 7 years past, I, Zach Grummarai, murdered my mentor, Magnifi Grummarai. I apologize for the trouble caused by my sudden departure from court, and hereby confess to my crime. Wait, what?
He's sparing... I think he knows.
Yeah, he might be trying to spare Valen.
That's exactly what he's doing.
I think
Valen did it.
Valen 100% did it, and I think Zach's trying to protect him to keep the Grummarai thing going with him.
Yeah.
Maybe?
No, he signed over the rights, but I think he's just trying to let Valent, who got caught up in this, have a good life, because he's already sent him without the rights.
His confession, to use as I saw fit.
Oh, is that in the envelope?
It might be. I don't think it's specified for us. Of course, he'd killed no one. This is his way of trying to loose ends with his old partner, Valen Grummarai. Or is this... Oh no, this might be separate.
It is separate. Or not. I don't know. Well, Sunshine Coliseum.
Yeah, we have them as two separate things.
Okay.
Well, this is a blast from the distant past. Long time no see, Mr. Valent. 7 years has it been? Frankly, I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Actually, I became to something I want to talk to you, ask you. I've spoken to the press. I have nothing more to say. I've spoken to a lot of people myself and come to some conclusions. But then I realized I needed to hear it from you. I have walked a difficult road through the past 7 years. Because you couldn't perform Magnifi's repertoire. Do not be deceived. Valent's skill is the real deal. I do not require mentors' hand-me-downs. No, it was my partner who slowed me on the way. Zach Grummarai. And his rather well-performed disappearing act 7 years ago was an end. Or so I thought. Zach Grummarai murdered our mentor and fled to escape punishment for his crime. You said something to that effect 7 years ago, didn't you? I remember as it were only yesterday. Yet that was not the way of it, in the end. For a while, he vanished, the suspicion upon my own person. Never did. His partner Zach vanished to protect him. That's why those thieving magpies for press said. I had no idea. The very same press comes to me now, feigning interest. They cover the greatest magic show in history as if it were a vaudevillian destruction. And here I must stand smiling at them all. What am I if not a player in some fiendish farce? Might I suggest it's because you've never made it clear what happened. Magnifi's death is still a mystery to this day. Which is why I came to get an answer from you.
Only 2.
Knew I'd be seeing these sooner or later. The audience has no business stepping upon the stage. There must be content to sit and stare at the spotlight. Content. It sounds like an awful lot like something I heard 7 years ago. What you got for us? Ask what you will, you'll get nothing from me. Much part of this affair as you are now. I have to know what happened. For 7 long years, I've endured. Now, finally, the curtain lifts on the new golden age. All the miracles of our truth within my grasp. Sorry to do this, Fallon. Right now, I need answers. I think I'll start by dropping a bomb that should shake things up. Valen, I wouldn't be so sure about those miracles. Not as long as I have this. Is it probably referring to this then?
I think it's the legal document saying that it's passing things through. Because he can't perform. No miracle can happen if he gets the performance rights taken away.
So you think it's this?
Yeah.
And what might that be? Oh, and I think timeline-wise, this probably happened before Phoenix gave it to us.
Yeah.
So Phoenix has told him about it, and then he handed it off to Apollo.
And then we just showed it in front of his face real
And he's
fast.
like, give me that. He's like, no. And what might that be? I'm impressed you didn't do that sooner. And what might that be? It bears the Grummarai seal. It should have... I should have brought this to your attention sooner. But I didn't imagine you to be planning your comeback quite so fast. What is this? A document showing the true recipient of the performance rights to Magnifi's miracles. What? Zach Grummarai? He wrote this? What? He passed everything to his daughter? Trucy Enigmar. Actually, she's officially my daughter these days. Preposterous! Zach is gone. Vanished into the void. This is a genuine article. Zach was alive when he wrote this. Both myself and the notary can testify to this. Wah! Why does fate toy with me so? Why must my life be lived in thrall to the dead? You're not the only one with that problem. But he shot Magnifi. Yes, it was Zach. It was. Then he left, and my career as a magician fell into darkness. Do you think there might be some way out of it? Say if you could prove that Grummarai shot Magnifi? Was that why you testified? Yes, my way out. It should have been my way out. Well, it might not be too late, Mr. Valent. All you need is a way to prove your case. Who really killed Magnifi Grummarai?
And then it's this.
I believe I have the answer to your prayers right here. Zach Grummarai wrote one more thing before passing on. But this is a confession, in which he admits to the killing of Magnifi Grummarai. See? All according to your plan. But he doesn't seem happy about it. I am a magician by trade. Deception is my line of work. I fool the audience, give them a fleeting dream. Yet it seems the tables have turned. Now I'm in the audience, believe in the deceptions I have wrought upon myself. Zach wrote this right in front of me, after I explained your situation to him. Alak! Alakazung! You do know that this confession is nothing but lies. Yes, in my opinion, it's my opinion that Zach Grummer killed no one. And if it wasn't Zach, there's really only one other option. Then you must be thinking the truth is a simple matter of elimination. Two received instructions to kill, but if one is innocent, the other who remains is guilty. That would be the logical conclusion, yes. So he vanished to protect me, his partner. Ha 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 ha. A stirring tale, 'tis true. Did you shoot Magnifi Grammari in the forehead? If I had, and I told you, what would you do? Run to the police perchance? Do as you will. There is nothing left for me now. It is true, after all. I have little talent. I needed my mentor's magic repertoire. It was as if a little demon grabbed a hold of me. I knew it. So Valen Grammari did kill the great Magnifi. So sorry, Mr. Right. But I was not the one who shot my mentor. Is he still denying it, or is there really someone else?
The only other person who was a player at the time is literally Kristoff. No one else has a special interest in the case.
But if it wasn't you, then who was it?
Okay.
Let us cook focus.
Why is he such an important player? There's another disciple. I can't see the guy, like, I can't see you-know-who being it, right? Can't be Spark. He's the age, though, to...
This just might be a red herring, as there's not actually another disciple.
Okay, let's go with the red herring idea.
Maybe. We'll see what Valent says. Another disciple, such as... I don't know. Knack and talent Grammari, maybe? The wild fantasies couldn't be further from the truth. Only Zack and Valent received those threatening letters. But there was another. One more person who could have fired that pistol that night. I don't suppose you've figured it out by now.
The daughter?
No, the daughter was already dead. There's no way he's saying this is a suicide, right?
By elimination, it's the only him.
He's the only one left in the room. It wasn't Zack or Valent who shot Magnifi. Then it had to be the only other person at the scene.
Him himself.
Means... Wait. You don't mean... Yes, the great Magnificent Grammari himself. So Magnificent Grammari committed suicide? You find it hard to believe. To be honest, I hadn't even imagined it as a possibility. So that would mean Valent would have had to cover it up then.
How the fuck did he put the gun back on the table?
Yeah, Magnifi wouldn't have been able to put the gun back on the table, so it would have to have been Valent.
But if he was telling the truth and the... That's so weird. We'd have to ask him where the gun was, right?
Maybe that's gonna happen. When I arrived at that night, the old man was still alive. He appeared to be asleep. I could not shoot him. When I turned and made leave to leave the room, the old man called up to me. So you spoke with Magnifi Grammari. Yes, and this is why I knew what he had done. Magnifi transferred the rights to his repertoire to my partner, Zack Grammari, not me. See. Then I guess I owe you an apology. Always thought you were the one who did it. You owe me no apology. Huh? My crime was, in a way, more serious than that murder. He tampered with the scene. That's the only explanation.
Covered for his
What?
assisted
crime?
suicide?
Is Valentine confessing something to me? More serious than murder. You see, I knew that the 2 letters had been sent. There are no secrets between partners. It was easy to find out. That was when I understood Magnifi's plan. He wanted to die by one of your hands. Little did I expect anything to do with the rights to this repertoire. That is when I heard it. Little demon whispering in my heart. The demon. Let me confess.
Okay.
I had intended to shoot Magnifi. And I had planned on framing my partner for the crime. What? That night, I prepared something before going to Magnifi's hospital. Which was? IV fluid, of course. I'd seen it on the earlier visit. Zack did not shoot, I would do the deed. Then, I would use the IV liquid to place the murder on his hands. That was my plan. But you didn't shoot him. I could not. The demon in my heart fled the moment when the moment came. But the Magnifi called me back. I'm sorry, Valent. Giving my magic to Zack, not to you. You still lack the draw he has. Please, help him if you can. I left the room. And I stopped. The shock of what had just been told consumed me. That's when I heard the fateful gunshot. Magnifi Grammari, killing himself. Then the demon awoke anew with me. That killed him. He was the one. Frame him, and the magic will be yours. Out of the scene of his suicide. Took the pistol from his hand, wiped off the prints, and then used a syringe to add IV fluid I brought. So in the end, things happened pretty much as planned. Magnifi died, and you framed Zack for murder. As planned indeed. Of course, the outcome was somewhat different than I had anticipated. Well, what do you think? Do you believe my story? Can it be believed truly? That was 7 years ago. I don't know what to believe. But, yes. I'm glad I heard it from you, Mr. Valent. Thank you. It is I who should be thanking you, Mr. Wright. Only when I had lost everything could I make my decision. You're going to turn yourself in? My partner may have vanished, but not so my guilt. As my guilt stays, all else begins to leave me. My friends, my performance rights, my magic. I've had enough of vanishing acts. I understand. Thought my life was ruled by a dead man. But I find I was wrong. For that Grammari was alive. Well, not anymore. And now it occurs to me. What if he was not the only one who survived? What do you mean? See, now that I think about it, I realize that we never saw proof of her demise. We never saw her body. No shot she's still alive.
Ow. You're not hypothesizing that it's Kristoff, are you? Who are you thinking she is?
Lamoire.
Why do you think
it.
it's Lamour?
They look. I was thinking this for a bit. They look similar.
But she's blind.
Think about when Lamour was talking. She said she got.
Yeah.
She doesn't. She just woke up to darkness. She doesn't remember her past. But the doctor told her her eyesight was curable. She doesn't remember her past. Like, hold on.
I can kind of see it. The ages are different, but I mean, it makes sense. Think of. Okay, I see it now.
Bro!
Yeah, the eye thing is the same. The bands on the neck. I see it now. So think about it this way. If she was blind, right, she would be unable to tell someone's lie, but she could tell when they are lying. She wasn't able to tell the lie of her, the little piano player, right? Weird. But it does make sense. I see it now.
Oh my gosh, there's no way. 40, it kind of makes sense. It kind of fits for her to be Apollo's mother in a way. It does fit. Have a child at 18. It does work.
Yeah, now I can't unsee it. Thank you for that.
Oh gosh. Her? The mind races and the mouth flaps, so my apologies. Forget this matter. I hope that the day will come when I meet my partner, Zachary Mirai. And I shall apologize for my terrible mistake. I'm glad we had a chance to talk. Thank you. But here's the kind of the weird thing with that. Wouldn't he have recognized Lamoire as her?
He never. He worked with her.
He worked with her on that magic trick.
Yeah, but then again, she was like in a shawl the entire time, and you can't take off a shawl. And it's been years, right? 7 years?
True.
More than that. And then you have the fact that she's blind. She can't recognize she's working with him. You think she wouldn't recognize his voice? That's what I'm curious about.
A voice can change over 7 years, too.
True, and she didn't have heightened senses then either. And she would have forgot.
Potentially, yeah.
Well, he got to work with her once again. So, I have a question. Are we stopping here, or are we still going?
Do you need to stop?
I don't need to stop, but I'm just curious.
I mean, I want to try to finish this segment at least.
All right, let's go for the segment then.
I think all we have left is Kristoff, right?
Yeah.
Zachary Mirai, Shadi Smith, whichever name you prefer, he's no longer with us. The truth revealed that the trial was only a sliver. And the impenetrable darkness that remained has taken another life. I knew I'd have to push back the darkness for good. It would involve paying a visit to that man a visit.
Here we go.
All right, Kristoff. Oh? Sorry, sir. Prisoner Kristoff Gavin is currently occupied. I see. Do you know when he'll be finished? Well... Could you go find out? Certainly, sir. Please wait here a moment. My apologies to the guard. But there's something I need to see.
A yellow envelope.
There it is. The yellow envelope. And the sender is Drew Masham. I was right. When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Masham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. It was a yellow envelope. Or it was left at the crime scene. This is the last letter that Drew Masham wrote. And there's something I need to do. The last thing I need to do, in fact. Here it goes. See if Retrocanine Spray finds anything.
Right on the top right.
Since this is Drew Misham's messenger of death. The stamp will write, no mistaking it. And his last letter was sent to Christoph Gavin.
The interview request came like you said it would, and they're looking into the case. I swear on my life I won't tell them about you. So please release the spell you put on my daughter. I'll write later with a report. The spell?
Gotcha.
The spell being the
luck charm.
I'm leaving the house. Yeah.
Finally, decisive evidence. What's this? A burglar in jail. Gavin. I didn't know you moonlighted in larceny, right? Gavin, there's something I have to ask you. Can I steal your stuff? The answer is no. My apologies, but there's not much I care to discuss. Vera Misham hasn't received her verdict yet. You follow me, Gavin? There's no known survivors of atrichonine poisoning. But it never hurts to hope. Okay, I'll be leaving now then. Right. Wait. Yeah, Gavin? Would you mind leaving that letter? It's private. Oh, sorry. Forgot I had it. Many thanks.
I feel like you left it.
There's a recorder! Don't tell me there's a recorder in that. We've seen all the clues in this case. Clues I gather over 7 long years. Now it is time. Every story has an ending. We come to the final chapter. The final trial. Find a truce. You're the only ones who can.
I don't have brain power to continue.